Hey guys, welcome to the Game Precast, episode 13. My name is Frank. I am joined by Mike. This is our podcast where we talk about all things gaming. Today we got quite a few topics, so we're going to get right into it. But yeah, Mike, what have you been playing recently?
This past week, just Hitman 3. A few multiplayer games with my friends here and there, but overall, just Hitman 3. I am completely obsessed. I have about 50 hours in so far. I've done Silent Assassin across the entire trilogy because I finally got my Hitman 1 maps to work. And now I'm just going through doing a few challenges that I have left over. I already completely discovered all of the maps, so I got those achievements and challenges. But now, what I'm really working on, at least what I started today, is Silent Assassin Suit Only. I know I was explaining it to you, but I'll just say it again for people who are watching if you aren't really familiar with Hitman. Um, so Silent Assassin is a challenge where you have to eliminate your target and not eliminate anyone else throughout the map. You can knock them unconscious, but you can't kill them. Also, you can't be spotted, you can't have any bodies found, and you can't be caught by a security camera. So Silent Assassin Suit Only, which is what I've been doing today, is all of that except you can't change your disguise at all. So you have to go in with the suit that you enter in. So a lot of areas, pretty much the entire map is locked off to you, and you just have to be really creative about the way you do things, unless you use a guide, of course. But I have not because I didn't really want to take the easy way out. I might if it gets to the point where I need to, but so far I have 8 out of the 12 I need for this one pistol that I want from doing the challenge. So that's all I've been doing in terms of games. Well, actually, before I hand it off to you, I did play like about an hour, I would say, of the medium, which came out earlier this week. But besides that, it's just been Hitman. So how about yourself?
Some before I get into that, some unrelated gaming news. For some reason, this happens like every time we start the podcast. I'll like look down on my phone because I get a beep, and it's like, oh, something major just happened in the world. Like we had the Capitol getting sieged 1 week during the podcast. We
Oh my
had the GameStop situation last week, and now this week, Jeff Bezos is no longer the CEO of Amazon. He has stepped down.
Huh?
Yeah,
Well,
he is. He's still going to be with the company as an
well,
executive
yeah, of
chair.
course, he still owns it.
Yeah, but he is stepping down. There will be a new CEO later this year. He wants
And they
to focus on some other stuff,
hopefully
including
not
the
gaming.
Washington Post.
Oh,
Yeah, we'll be
please.
talking about the gaming stuff regarding Amazon in a little bit, but
Yeah, well,
I
Luna scares me.
I'm happy with what's going on with the direction with these big companies, but I'll dive into that later. But what I've been playing, Demon Souls, beat that finally. I'm so like happy that I actually finished it. Like that's not something I expected me to do. Like I expected myself to play that game, maybe beat one boss, hate it, and I managed to make it through an entire game. Now, did I play as royalty? Yes. Did I kind of scum my way through the game by playing as royalty? Yeah, kind of. But I mean, I still used a sword and a shield for a lot of things in the game. The final boss, I mean, I was pretty much using the sword and shield in that fight because, or not even the shield, I was fucking dodging in that because I totally forgot to stock up on magic stuff. So I
Oh, the
had,
spice.
yeah, I had no spice. Well, I had spice going into. I had like 20 spice. I was like, yeah, that's enough. And then there was this blue dragon, and I was like, oh, I want to kill it. And I could kind of like just like sit behind this little thing, pop my head out, shoot it, and I wasted all my spice on it. And I finally kill him, and I'm like, okay, so I can go back to the hub and get more spice. But then every enemy will respawn, and I'll have to fight through the entire level again. So I was like, nope, just fucking, I'm going in, and I somehow won. So
Let me ask you something. In the original, when you killed Blue Dragon, you got a trophy, but that's not around anymore. Is there any reward for doing it before I go into my next New Game Plus cycle? Because
I
I can drop them easy. Same with the red one now that I think about it. I have every every spell to the
Yeah, I was
max.
surprised that the Red Dragon wasn't like a real boss fight. Like I was expecting that. It's just like, oh, you can go kill him if you want to.
Well, yeah, in the original it kind of was. Like Demon Souls is very experimental. They didn't quite figure out their formula yet. So technically Red Dragon, Blue Dragon, Old King Doran are all bosses, and like that's why you got trophies for them in the original, but the remake kind of backpedaled on that a little bit because there's no trophy anymore, so they're kind of just like hidden encounters almost. Well,
Yeah,
not hidden, but
yeah, I
just well,
got you.
Doran is hidden, but the dragons, yeah, you're not really like
Yeah, I
supposed to attack them. You're
I
supposed
don't
to
remember
avoid
if I got an achievement, I know I definitely got a soul thing dropped, and I think it was worth like 10,000 souls. But at that
Yeah,
point, souls doesn't really matter because I mean I'm at the last boss. So
well, New Game Plus, buddy. That's what the
yeah,
souls are for.
I know.
Well, yeah, no,
I
I
don't know
know
if
there's
I have
not
the
a.
mental capacity to handle a second playthrough.
You do. You just gotta believe in yourself.
I know.
I
I
know
mean,
that.
yeah, I could, but there's so many other games, and I kind of want to play the next like game from like Souls related, like because I'm playing through the medium right now. Like that's my game that I'm playing right now this week, and oh my god, like going from Demon Souls to that, it's just like the most boring gameplay. And I mean,
That's not
I don't
because
want to
of
pull up
Demon
my review.
Souls, pal. Trust me. That's just the game. Like the story's super intriguing, but I can't. Like I don't want to play through the gameplay to get to the
All right,
cutscenes
now
and the
I
dialogue.
don't know how far you got into the game. I'm forcing
I
my way through it
just
because I'm reviewing it. I got a review code from them, so
I
I am
just
forcing my
got
way through.
through I just got to like the main lab place area.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you know that puzzle, like to get into, like you have to go find the screwdriver.
Yeah, I just found that by looking around.
All right, that's the most fucking absurdly stupid puzzle.
What?
All right,
How?
there is a building that has been abandoned for years. There is a broken window up above, and that's what you're trying to get to. So you're like, all right, I'm gonna go search a random parking lot to go look for a screwdriver. So then I could break open this one door to go in there and get a dumpster to push the dumpster to go climb through a broken window. Just fucking take a rock, throw it at the glass, and you're in the building. Like, I don't
Well,
know. I mean,
weren't the doors like barred off? Like there was
no,
like
dude. There was glass. The
wooden.
whole entire building was glass windows. Like the
Yeah,
entire
maybe it's
thing.
reinforced glass, like
But there was a
plexiglass.
broken window right above it that she's climbing to.
Well, maybe something more powerful broke that window,
I
you
don't
know?
know,
It's
bro.
a supernatural game. I don't know, I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here. But, back to the Demon Souls conversation, I will tell you this. Demon Souls by far has the easiest new game cycle out of every Soulsborne game ever made. Because of that, Demon Souls has the hardest new game plus out of any Soulsborne game. It's a massive spike in difficulty, and enemies can do anywhere from 2 to 3 to 4 times the damage on you, and a lot of them have double HP, or at
Fuck
least
that shit.
a good increase. But, you know, surpassing that challenge and claiming victory, one of the most satisfying feelings ever.
Oh wait, I have a question for you. Uh,
I would recommend it.
I got a key from I don't know his name. The one NPC who's on like the first like level section, the first archstone, who like follows your way through the level, and then he's at the staircase right before the final boss. He's like the prince.
Ostrava?
Yeah, that dude. He gave me a
Yeah,
key.
that's Alant's son.
All right, so what did that key give you? Like, cause I didn't
That
go, cause
opens
I would have had to
that
backtrack so far to go open that item.
yeah, that opens the mausoleum in 1-1 with the Red Eye Knight in front of it,
Yeah, I died
and
to him on my
inside
second
there
life.
is Old King Doran. And if you beat him in combat, which he will ask you to fight him, and you only have to get a fourth of his health bar down. And once you do that, you get Demon Brand, which is one of the best swords in the game. And if you combine that with Soul Brand, which drops from False King Alant, you can combine that in New Game Plus to get the Northern Regalia, which is by far the best weapon in the game. It does like over 530 damage, and if you have pure White World tendency, it scales up. And I'm pretty sure if you have pure Black, it scales up as well. So as long as you're like pure one way or the other with your world tendency is so good. It's what I use. And
Yeah,
on top of that, if you kill Dorn, if you fight him past his, fourth of HP, you get the Eternal Warriors ring, which is needed for the platinum, so I had to do it, and it increases your stamina recovery. But Dorn is the most bullshit fight in the game because he can 1 to 2 shot you, and there's really nothing you can do about it.
nice.
Um, because he is so hard to get down. Like he can like you'll get him to half HP with melee combat and you'll spend like I spent a good half hour, not maybe not half hour, but good 20 minutes fighting him and he got down to under half HP and then he just used a healing item while my stamina was recovering to get back to full HP. So I said fuck it and I just poisoned him after that and just waited him out for him to croak and die and fall over. So you can just use that or spam magic on him if you want to get rid of him. But yes, that is what the key leads to, is the old
Okay.
mausoleum. And I know I ran, but if I ever get the opportunity to talk about souls, I just gush because it's like an encyclopedia up here.
You're like, all right,
So
here you got. I got a book right here. I got my journal. Here's every stat. All right, you need 20 strength. You need 12 magic. Uh, but yeah, let's talk about the medium a little bit more because that
sure,
is, I don't want to say it's the first major
it
Xbox game of
is.
the year, but it is their first major
It's their
Xbox.
first. It's the first exclusive for Series X.
Yeah.
That we can say. It's the first console exclusive for Series X.
I mean, I don't want to say it's disappointing because my expectations weren't that high for it originally. And it's like, it's a double A team. Bluebird, you can't expect anything that crazy from them, and they had a lot of like cool ideas with like, oh, the splitting worlds and different realities, and but I don't know. There's
I
just
I thought it was gonna. The first, I gotta say, the biggest thing for me is the fixed camera angles.
oh yeah, I can't stand that.
I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I remember when the game was announced in the trailer, they never advertised
No,
that.
they did not. This came out of nowhere. Fixed camera.
Like, I remember seeing gameplay, following the main character, Marianne, the camera was, like, right behind her, like in an RE2, RE3, RE4 style.
There
Like
are
over the
like
shoulder.
parts like there's different camera like angles like they'll switch around and there's like certain sections where it does get close up on her, but it's only in like certain areas, and then it's like weird because then you'll be running and it'll switch it up and you'll be like in front of her now. Like, are you ever gonna play it again? That's my question. Because I
I
don't want
am.
to spoil it. You are
I
okay.
do intend to finish it, it's just I have other things that I wanna play first.
All right, I don't want to go like crazy on spoilers then, especially for anyone else who's interested in it. But like the first major enemy encounter situation, it's just like it's poorly done, dude. It's like I had to go
Like,
on
how so? Like, mechanically, or is it just not
mechanically.
compelling narrative-wise?
Well,
Okay.
yeah, mechanically. It's I don't know. I'm not. I don't. It's like, dude, I don't even have any words. It's just a. It's not a good game. It's unfortunate, and maybe
So
the
you just
last.
don't like
All right,
it.
I'm halfway through the game right now, so
Okay.
maybe the final half of the game blows me away. Maybe I don't know. I don't have that high hopes. Like, I mean, I thought this would be a really good horror game. I've gotten
Me
scared
too.
once. I've gotten scared once. It was a cheesy jump scare, and you'll know about it when you get there. It happens fairly early in the game. It makes you jump, and then okay, that's it. And then I mean, during like the chase scenes and some of the encounters, it's like all right, that's kind of creepy, but it's not like scary. And I'm a fucking bitch with video games. Like you know what happened with Resident Evil 7. You know
Oh
how
my god,
scared I
it
got
took
in that game.
you
Took me like
years to
three
make you finish
attempts to
that
finish
game.
that game. And with this, I'm just like, okay. I'm like playing it at night at 2 a.m. and in the dark, and I'm like, okay, nothing's really happening here.
I will say, when I first started it, in the part where, so the game opens with your adoptive father dying, and I don't think that's a spoiler, because it's just literally how the game starts, like, you're just, like, putting him to rest, and when you walk upstairs from the, prep area in the morgue because he owned a funeral home, like, there's, like, a flash of lightning, you can see someone at the top of the stairs,
Yeah,
like, that gave me a little bit of shivers, like, it didn't scare me, but it made me feel,
it
like,
was
cold,
creepy at the very least.
Yeah,
Like,
it set, like, a good tone of atmosphere,
yeah,
and her conversation with her father, like, getting that chance to say goodbye, like, that resonated with me, that was a little bit powerful, that was good dialogue, and I was like, "Okay, even with the fixed camera angles, this is promising." And every time I get like a little bit of lore exposition, a little bit of the story, I'm like, okay, yeah, this is intriguing. I want to follow this plot line. I want to follow this thread. I want to see where it goes. And then I get to the gameplay, and it's just like, do I really want to put in the work to get to this next plot thread? Because it is so boring. It is so boring. Like, so basically the entirety of the gameplay just entails you holding LT to run because you're not going to walk anywhere, and holding RB for insight to see what items in the environment you can interact with.
yeah,
That's it for the most part, and, a little bit of puzzle solving here and there, but it's just you feel so removed and I tweeted about it. You feel so removed and disconnected from the character with this camera angle. I guess they were trying to pay homage to, like the original Silent Hill games, like 1 and 2,
yeah.
but,
That was
you
definitely
know
inspiration.
those games only had fixed camera angles, same with, the original Resident Evils, because that's all the technology could afford at the time. And as
Yeah,
soon as they were able to go a different route, over the shoulder third person, they did. And you ask anyone now if they prefer the original Resident Evil 2 and 3 to the remakes, at least mechanically, gameplay wise, they're going to say the remakes just
yeah,
because of the ease of access and the convenience and just like how much more immersive it is. I
for
just
sure.
I can't put myself into the main protagonist's shoes in this game because I just feel like I'm always like an overhead omniscient camera
Yeah.
that I don't know.
And can we just
It's not
talk about
compelling.
the fact that like the story starts off, you're in there, you get the phone call, and then she's like, "All right, I'm just gonna go into the middle of the woods on a bike
Mhm.
by myself, not letting anyone know, not even have
Into
a
the middle of the
flashlight,
Polish
not have any
woods.
like sort of weapon or anything, like not even a flashlight. Like you're going to an abandoned like forest in the middle of the night, like sun is setting. You're like, okay, just gonna go
Yeah.
die.
Like I understand the reason for her going there because she finally has like a a line to follow for this dream that she's been having her whole life and can never make sense of, and now she finally knows that someone else is at least having the same dream or at least knows about it, and it's just been messing with her psychologically all this time. So I can understand wanting to find that answer, but you're right, she just total lack of preparedness. Doesn't bring anything. Like I would bring at least a knife, maybe a firearm, definitely a flashlight, like you said, and a satellite phone or something. I think this game takes place in 1999, so cell phones were a thing at this point. Definitely satellite phones were.
Yeah.
Nope, she just goes in with her motorcycle, and that's that. It is kind of funny now that I'm thinking about it, but I
And
didn't
then
really notice it until you said it.
it's just like the optimization in this game. I don't know how it is on Xbox. I mean, I know I heard like something about it drops to 900p
I
at times.
played it after a patch, so I don't know
Yeah.
how it was released, but it was for the most part stable, but when you split into the 2 worlds, there are some frame
Is
drops.
it 30 FPS or 60 FPS for you?
Ah, I really can't tell. I feel like when you're just in the fixed camera, it's 60, but I feel like when it splits, it goes down. I can't
All right.
confirm that. That's just what my eyes
Yeah,
picking
all
up
right.
on.
At least like on PC. I mean, I got a pretty good PC. I have a 3080. I mean, I don't have like a budget PC or anything. I've spent a lot on this PC. And it's just like I don't want to say it's like the worst optimization I've seen in a while, but it's really bad. It's up there at times. Like so I can handle 4K 60 FPS when you're just like in the normal part of the game, it's just normal walking. And then the second you split, it's like nope, and it's just gonna drop down like into the 20s. And now I made the switch over to like 1440p, and it's a little bit better. Like you're at all right, and it holds it a little bit better when you split, but even it still drops into like the 40s at times. And I mean that just shouldn't be how like this game doesn't look that good graphically, where it should be like oh it's gonna run that badly. And I understand they're double A studio, so that's why I want to be a little bit like not just like
But it did get delayed, and it didn't
yeah
even need the delay. It only got delayed to avoid, the collision of having
Cyberpunk.
the same release date with Cyberpunk. Yes, so they had more time to polish, um, and that it just didn't seem like that happened. Or maybe their ambitions were just too high and they couldn't handle it for what they are
Yeah.
as a studio.
And
I
now
don't know.
what I do wonder is what Microsoft thinks of this. Like I think financially, I think it was a success because I think they said that they paid off the production costs on day one on sales. So financially, it was a success. But I don't know how like happy Microsoft is with the actual game itself. Like on
Yeah,
Metacritic, I think it has like a 7 out of 10. So that's not a bad score. Don't get me wrong, and it's not a bad game as an indie game. But
what I think needs to happen is the best course of action here for Microsoft and Bloober Team both. I think an acquisition would suit them well. And I think that because they would have larger financial backing behind Bloober Team, more direct oversight, and just a more I don't even know what to say, but a better development atmosphere
see, I
because
thought that for a while.
I see potential. Like I
Yeah.
see potential with their games. I saw potential with Blair Witch, but to me it was a letdown. I thought it was very boring. The Medium I think has a way more potential than Blair Witch ever did, but again, gameplay's kind of boring, so it's a letdown. And
Well,
I
all their
think
games.
if they had more money, if they could go from double A to triple A, I think they could I did want to say I think they could, just put more money into it and they could make something that's truly fantastic. But the decision for the fixed camera angle, it really astounds me. It makes no sense because
All their games are like mediocre, like, and they're not
I didn't
bad.
want to say that, but
Yeah, no, but
yeah.
I'm looking at their Metacritic scores, and I don't want to like be like, oh, just trust Metacritic. Like, no, but it gives you a good idea to where people see their game, at least from like industry standpoint. And I mean, all their games are pretty much sixes or sevens, and there's a few that pop into the eights. Um, so I mean, they're not bad games, but they're all just average. I mean, the Medium had a 76 on PC. Observer System Redux got an 86, but
Observer's pretty good from what I've heard, but I think that's probably the best thing they've made.
yeah, the Observer is definitely the best thing they made. I mean, they had the Layer of Fears. I think there's two of the games, the
Yeah,
Layer of
and
Fear,
2 definitely dropped in quality from 1, from what I've heard.
and they have made some really bad games like on the PS3. Like this game has a 27, so basic
Honestly,
control. Let's see what this is.
remember Made of Skur?
Yeah,
I like Made of Skur more than the Medium.
really.
Honestly, yeah. I mean, at least that game's story was, like, compelling, and the Welsh mythology was really captivating to me, and I finished it. I plan to finish the Medium, but I don't know if I might just replay Made of Skur because that was free on Gold a few months back, and I could pick up some Xbox achievements. I don't know.
Yeah, I
But
don't
the
know.
Medium is just I'll tell you this, I
Oh,
wouldn't
but
pay
there are a lot of
$45 for it.
achievements. There are a shit
There
ton of
are.
achievements. I'll give you
I
that.
have, like, 160 gamer score from, like, just 1 hour of playtime.
Yeah,
But
you get a lot.
it's just for I'm only playing it because it's on Game Pass. I would not spend $45 on this game ever.
Yeah,
Never.
I
I would
agree with that.
I would say I really don't wanna be a dick, and I'm not trying to be, but, like, 20 to 25, honestly.
I no, I wouldn't even give it that. I'd say Game Pass only. Because
Really.
you're not going to replay this game. This is not a game you replay. This is a game
My
you
buddy
play it
actually
once.
is. He beat it in one sitting, and he started his 2nd playthrough, but I will say he
Your
hasn't been
roommate?
back on. No,
Who
but
who
another buddy of mine,
dude,
but, he
he's a
hasn't played
fucking
it
retard. I'm
since.
sorry. All right. I don't even care. I don't know him, but all right. This game, I like walking simulators. You know that. I've
Yeah.
said about how much I love Firewatch, and I wouldn't replay Firewatch, but I love that game so much. Gone Home, Vanishing Ethan Carter, What Remains of Edith Finch. What was the one I did a review for on the site? I can't remember now.
Oh,
Just came
Gone
out.
Home?
No,
Was that what it's called?
no. I'm looking on our fucking site right now. Hang on. Suicide of Rachel Foster. So you know I
Yeah.
like those kind of games where you just walk around and they're pretty mindless. There's not a lot of gameplay. The Medium is just not. There's nothing there that would like make me say, "Oh, I want to play this game a second time." Like it's a
Well,
5 or 6 hour game. Get it on Game Pass, and that's it. Just be done with it, and that's it. I cannot recommend $45 or anything close to that.
with those walking simulators, I mean, you're kinda, constantly dropped with story and exposition, right, to keep you invested, to
Yeah,
keep you
but the story here
entertained.
is not that good in the Medium. That's the
To
problem.
me to me, again, it starts to captivate me a little bit, and then they just bring me back to the boring ass gameplay, and then I
Yeah.
don't even really care about the story. I think if there was less gameplay sections and more just not I don't even wanna say gameplay sections, just less walking sections
Yeah.
and more just giving me exposition, giving me story, giving me background knowledge on the events of the location that I'm in, or even this character's history. And like they did a good job of that with documents in her apartment in the beginning, and then after that, there's like nothing. I just,
Yeah, and the
it,
stealth also is not good. Like you haven't
I
gotten to the stealth yet, but
no.
it's not good stealth gameplay. I'll tell you that. You
Which
see it
you
in
know
like the
I love
gameplay
stealth
trailer.
games. I love stealth games, so that's probably gonna piss me off.
Yeah, but I think we've ranted enough about the Medium. My
I, I'm
review
just,
will be out probably. I want to say I'll beat it tonight, but I'm not that confident that I'll beat it tonight. So
I'm,
maybe I'll
I'm
beat it
dis,
tomorrow.
I'm disappointed that those are your true thoughts. I was hoping I was gonna come in here and you're gonna convince me to play it
Nope.
again.
No, I
Oh
can't.
man. I
I
mean,
mean,
I'm
maybe,
definitely
dude. I mean,
at some
maybe I'll
point,
be
but
wrong. Maybe the second half of the game is incredible, but it's just I don't even know if I'd want Microsoft to acquire them.
really, ooh,
Like that's like where I'm starting to get to
that
that point where I
stings.
think just having timed exclusivity with them might just make more sense. Because I mean, they've been
Honestly,
doing like timed exclusivity with them for like a while now, and I don't know. I mean, you could push them over the edge, and that's the thing. If you give them more funding, get them better management, maybe Boober becomes, an 8 out of 10, 8.5 out of 10 with all their horror games. And I mean, we don't have enough horror games as it is, so I
we
would like
don't.
to see them succeed. Like,
I want someone else other than Capcom to make consistently good horror video games. Because
yeah,
like that's it. The only people that deliver masterpieces really every time for the
yeah,
most
they
part.
can nail the gameplay aspect, but that's a big leap that they would need to do. But I don't know. I mean, there's rumors about like Silent Hill coming back on PlayStation. So I mean,
That
PlayStation's gonna have exclusive horror games. So I mean, if you're Xbox, I think you'd want at least someone on your team to work on horror games. I mean,
yeah, that Bethesda acquisition really has to move through because they have really nothing in terms of exclusives. I mean, like what's good that they have? Halo is iffy at best now with 343's incompetence. Gears is good when it comes to multiplayer and Horde, but Five's campaign was a massive step down from anything that came before. And it's not because you play as Kate, it's because they made Kate boring as hell. And didn't, all the marketing alluded to her having, choices about her loyalties and just that never comes to pass. And it's just all set from the beginning to the end, and the only major choice in the game, there's obviously a canon choice there. So it's just not as compelling as what it used to be. And then Forza's great, but Forza's racing. And
yeah.
if you're not a car fan or a racing fan, you're not going to really care about Forza. And besides that, what is there besides the timed exclusives? Not like Flight
I mean, you're right.
Simulator. Again, that's another niche audience. It's a good game, but not many people play, flight sims compared to like FPSs or RPGs or something like that. Microsoft needs to step up their exclusive game fast. And because, if this is, think about, this is a first impression. This is their first Series X exclusive, and
Yeah,
it is not up to spec. It's not.
you're right. It's. I mean, well, I mean, they did have I think the Falconeer. They had a few other games around launch that were more like
But like first
indie.
party.
Yeah.
This is their first party exclusive for Series X.
Well, it's not. It's a second party game.
Well, you
I
know
mean,
what I mean.
They don't own Bloober.
Yeah, but it's not Medium's not coming to PlayStation.
It
Is what I
is.
meant.
It's a timed
It
exclusive.
is?
Yeah, timed exclusive.
Huh. Well,
Probably just a year. I mean, all Bloober's games have been like timed exclusives. I feel like I don't know about Blair Witch. I think even Blair Witch was a timed exclusive. Let me see.
well then that just kind of proves my point even more. They really have nothing.
Yeah, Blair
Wow.
Witch is on PS4. So yeah, Bloober always does like 1 year with Xbox.
Yeah, the Microsoft really needs to step up their shit.
Yeah, I
Like
mean, I have a
pronto.
few more things I'll add on that when we talk about Microsoft later, because I do have some stuff about Microsoft and their studios. But right now, let's talk about Mass Effect.
Ooh, yeah, some good news.
Some big news, dude. All right, so we've been hearing about these rumors for a while, and then it finally gets confirmed, and then it's like, oh, when's this release date gonna come? Well, finally, we found out it's gonna be May 14th, which is
This year?
farther away than I expected, but it's right around the corner. Um, and yeah, so you're gonna get all the content from Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3,
All
all
40 DLC
yeah,
packs.
40 DLC packs. You're gonna get remastered and optimized textures for 4K.
You can play as
Um,
female Shepard through parts 1 and 2 as
yeah,
well as 3 now.
I mean it looks good from like a graphical standpoint.
No confirmation of 60 FPS though. That's something I've been talking about with Frank all
Yeah,
day. That's something I really want to bring up is like they're touting all these visual enhancements, but there's no 60 FPS confirmation, which
I mean
is
I'm
kind of absurd.
imagining that it'll be 60 FPS on
Has to
like
be.
next gen on PS5
There's no
because I mean they're like
excuse.
advertising this as like oh coming out on Xbox One and PS4. So I'm assuming the PS5 and Series X versions will have 60. Wait, hang on, I'm reading something right
Yeah,
now.
these are 7th generation games, so if they don't run 64K on my Series X, that's unacceptable.
Oh yeah, here
That
I just got it. Supports ultra high refresh rates on PC and offers a choice between favorite quality or favorite frame rate on consoles.
Why should I have to choose between performance and resolution for a 7th generation game
I agree.
on
I
my
mean,
ninth
the
generation
graphical
hardware?
increasements aren't that much that they shouldn't. I don't know. I mean,
Another BioWare blunder. Here we go.
yeah, I mean they should have absolutely been able to get like true 4K, and then still be able to do it at 60 FPS. I mean, I'm looking at the images right now. I mean, it looks good. Don't get me wrong, but it's not enough to like be like, oh, I want to go play it again. I mean, like, I don't know, like the
Like, I'm
lens
gonna get it
flare.
because I've never played through the
Yeah,
original
I
trilogy,
mean, I just
but
played it like at the end of 2019, going into 2020. I played all 4 games, so I was gonna say if like ME1 was like a full remake, then yeah, I would have checked at least Mass Effect 1 out, and then, but it's borderline just a remaster. Um, and there are some like gameplay enhancements too for the earlier games, which is good. No mention about if they're gonna change up the ending for Mass Effect 3. Part of me thinks they will, but because that was a very controversial ending.
well, I think the
And
ending where
since
Shepard
ME4,
lives is just gonna be like built in.
yeah, I mean,
Uh,
I think there has to be something at the end of the game teasing like Mass Effect 4. In my opinion, since this is supposed to be like a direct sequel, I don't know if they'll
yeah.
get rid of the choice or if they'll make it like, oh, here's our canon one. But this needs to be good. I mean, this needs to come out and be a good port because BioWare needs a win. BioWare has not gotten a win in a while.
You don't say.
So I guess we will see. But May
I mean,
14th.
like, yeah. I mean, I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm definitely not gonna be done with Village by then, so it's definitely gonna go in the
Yeah, I
backlog
mean,
as soon as
dude,
it comes out. But
May. I mean, end of April. April 30th is Returnal, which is the last day of
yeah,
April or the second to last day of April. I don't know how many days are in April, but you
yeah,
have
I don't.
Returnal, which is pretty much into May, and then you have Village on what day is
May
Village?
7th.
May 7th.
Yep.
Then you got this on the 14th. You have Biomutant, Far Cry 6,
Yeah, that's right.
Deathloop.
Oh,
So,
oh my God, summer's gonna be packed.
and I mean, I would expect some of these games to probably get delayed as well. Like I think
I
Mass
don't
Effect.
think Deathloop will.
Yeah, I mean, the Far Cry 6 is the one that I'd be betting on, and Biomutant. Both of those I could easily see getting pushed into the summer. But yeah, a
Yeah,
ton of
Far
stuff.
Cry could get pushed to September, and honestly, I kind of hope they do because Ubisoft has been launching all of their games broken as hell recently. So, besides Valhalla, it wasn't too bad, but
Yeah,
Legion was unacceptable.
yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff coming
You
out in
know, I
May.
had someone on Twitter the other day tell me that Legion was amazing, like
That's
unironically amazing, like a
like amazing, like
masterpiece.
best game ever. Game
Yeah,
of the
like
year.
that type of rhetoric.
Yeah, I can't exceed
Yeah,
that.
no.
But you want to know who is making the best games of the year? Like
Who's
top of the
that?
line, amazing games, never before seen, cutting edge technology. Amazon and Google. I'm just kidding. Uh, so yeah, Amazon and Google both found out that making video games is actually hard. It requires some work. So earlier in the week, Jason Schreier came out with an article talking about some of the failures that was going on at Amazon Game Studios. He had 30 plus former and current employees talking about stuff. Basically, they'd hire veteran guys and then they would ignore them, and those veteran guys would quit. Management was a mess at Amazon, and they just pretty much said like, "Oh yeah, we want $1 billion franchises here." And you got 2 years to do it, which is not going to happen. Like they
Never.
want
That
it.
would never happen.
Like this is coming from the boss, Mike Frazinzi. Frazinzi, I don't know if that's how you say his last name, but he would tell his staff that they want $1 billion franchises. They want their games to be the size of Call of Duty. They want them to be innovative, unlike anything ever played before. But then they want them to do it in such a short amount of time. It's just not going to happen. And then you got Google on the other hand,
Jade
which
Raymond's out.
yeah, Jada Raymond is out, and they are closing 2 of their internal studios. So that's like 150 plus employees out of a job, and they're saying that there's not going to be any. Um, they will not be investing further in bringing exclusive content from internal development teams, which makes me think that Stadia is done in the water. They're cutting it loose. They realize that it's just not going to work. It's going to take too much effort.
Oh
Um,
no, then how am I ever going to use my Stadia that I got for free that's still in the box, Frank? What will I ever
shit
do?
out of luck. But I mean, dude, I mean, I don't think they're going to acquire any studios then. I mean, there was like going back a few weeks ago, we are like, oh god, Google could start acquiring people, Amazon, Apple. Um, I mean, if we're seeing Google dropping out of the game,
I hope they do.
if Google drops out of the game, then it's up to, well, what is Amazon going to do? I could also see Amazon dropping out of the game because they are also struggling. But then they
I
could also
wish
see,
they
oh, Google's dropping out. We have a better chance of dominance here. Um,
Or they could also take that on the inverse. They could say, "Oh, maybe we should get out before we lose more money than they
yeah.
did."
I mean, and if you get Google and Amazon both running, I don't think Apple's going to be like, oh, yeah, this is easy. Let's just hop in here and do this. Like,
Yeah,
we see
they're
both
like
Google.
Apple's gonna be the ones to do it.
So then, I mean, you got Microsoft, who is still, asserting its dominance with xCloud and trying to bolster Game Pass as like the top streaming solution. Because the problem with Stadia was like, oh yeah, go pay a monthly thing for Stadia. I think it was like $8 a month, but then you're not gonna
Or
get any games.
yeah,
You
Stadia
gotta
Pro is
pay.
15 a month, I think.
Yeah, you gotta pay like extra money to get the games on top of your subscription. So then it's like, all right, spend $60, and that just wasn't working with xCloud. It's $15 a month. You get the xCloud service and Game Pass, so you have all these games to play. Um, so right now, I mean, there's a chance that in this like acquisition war, it's gonna be Microsoft versus Tencent.
Oh no.
Like that's would, and we'll talk about Tencent in a little bit, but
I would take Google over Tencent, and I like I know that's a terrible thing to say because Google, even though we're putting this on a Google platform, they're terrible, and I have no qualms with saying that. But Tencent, oh my God, just imagine Take-Two, Activision, EA combined into one monolithic evil, and that's Tencent.
yeah,
They're,
you're not wrong. But
they just
something that I know you will be excited about. Let's change it up to some happy news here.
thank
IO
God.
Interactive confirmed that Hitman 3 is getting some DLC, which is
Hell
cool.
yeah.
Now it's
I
not gonna
heard
be
that.
anything crazy DLC wise. They're not like getting any new levels like Hitman 2 got. It's just gonna
Well,
be
as of
them.
right now, they haven't confirmed any new levels, but that's not like
Yeah, but I would say
straight
it's
off.
pretty unlikely since they're gonna be putting a lot of people working on the James Bond game. I don't see them going out of their way to make brand new levels, especially when they're confirming this DLC, which will be going to existing locations and reimagining them. So
So like
maybe like,
Patient Zero.
yeah. Um, I mean, I think it's cool. But you know my rant about the Hitman 3 DLC situation already. I mean, right
Yeah,
now it could cost you $197 if you want to get all the DLC, and if you
cost me
haven't bought
0.
it, if you want to get it all digitally. So I mean, if they're gonna be like, oh, here's another $40 for these DLCs or something like that. I mean,
Well, I don't think they will because Patient Zero was free. So I
all
imagine
Patient
that
Zero is free.
yeah, I'd imagine all this stuff would be too.
All right, hopefully. I mean,
Because building off of existing content.
yeah, I
Yeah,
don't know.
no,
I
they
mean,
release a ton of free content. Like they released bonus little missions over the summer, at least when Hitman 2 came out, and then yeah, Patient Zero. And then for the first game they had the Sarajevo 6, which is like the same thing, but that was only PlayStation exclusive, which was really dumb. So hopefully no exclusive nonsense this time. DLCs for everyone, and I imagine it would be free. They would be pretty dumb if it wasn't.
yeah, I hope so. But on that note, let's talk about NCAA making its return. Now, I don't. They didn't actually like, confirm that it's NCAA. I mean, they're just saying
It's
college
college
football
football.
is coming back, and then EA Sports college football. So it's probably what I'm hearing based off rumors is that you're not gonna have any of like players' names like on the jerseys or anything like that. It's just gonna be the teams,
Hmm.
just like the
Better than
college
nothing, I
teams.
guess.
It is better than nothing, but I'm gonna, and I know EA is gonna do it because, or maybe I don't know. I mean, if you're not gonna have like player names on jerseys or anything like that, it's really lacking. If you're gonna try to sell this for $70, I'm gonna be
They
really
will.
disappointed. Especially when Madden has been lacking in content, this should absolutely just become a component of Madden. That
And
makes
just
the
sell
most
it as
sense to
one
me. Just
package.
build it into Madden, have a college football mode, which they kind of have done. They, in like the story mode, you play in college and you can play as like 12 teams.
Yeah,
So
they did it in FIFA with FIFA Street. I forget which year,
yeah,
but they kind of brought that into it. And then same 2K did that as well, 1 year or two.
so I'm gonna be really
But I'm not,
disappointed if they do this college football and they try to sell it as its own game. and there's not even like player names in it, and it's just like, oh yeah, here's some teams, and that's pretty much Madden, just with new football teams with clones. It's like,
I wouldn't put it past them at all, considering it's Electronic Arts we're talking about here.
yeah,
But I don't really have anything to say about this because I'm not really a sports games guy. Like the only sports titles I played, well, I the last Madden I bought was 19, and then I realized that it's just going to be the same thing over and over again, more so than it was in past years. So
yeah,
I stopped.
yeah.
That's
I
the
mean,
last.
I'm a huge Madden fan. I reviewed Madden 21 for the channel this year. Got a review code from EA from that. Um, and yeah, it was a mess. It was not a
Yeah.
good game.
The only other sports title I play is, UFC, and
Yeah,
4 was, I would say a step down from 3, but that's not, accurate enough. I would say it's a whole, 90-story skyscraper down step, from 3. It's just absolutely terrible, completely built for the casual, fan base, and, definitely just is more focused on, like, flair and cinematic appeal than actual MMA combat, and, of course, they monetize the hell out of it
yeah,
more
with
than
the
they did
ads
3.
coming in,
And
fucking
just like UFC 4 was a terrible, terrible game, and it even graphically looks worse than 3. And what the changes they made to the clinch are so stupid, and to grappling, I don't even want to get into it. It's
yeah,
just a
yeah,
bad game. It's just a bad game.
yeah,
I don't really have faith with EA Sports titles anymore. But hey, if you like college ball, hopefully they don't let you down. Though I imagine they will.
yeah. In other news, PlayStation Plus, they announced their games for February a few days ago.
We
They
have
just became available today. So you
Destruction
got
All Stars.
Destruction All Stars, Control
Finally,
Ultimate Edition, and Concrete Genie.
Concrete
Um,
Genie is like a is that a VR like a move game?
no, it's
I know it's
I don't want to
compatible.
call it indie. It's on my list of games I want to play from the PS4. They did have like a VR mode for it, so that's probably what you're thinking of.
Yeah.
Like there's like a component to it, but yeah, I mean, I think it reviewed relatively well. I don't remember. It was a few years old. Let me check.
Well, I will
Concrete.
say this because I can't speak on Control. I haven't played the DLCs. I do intend to play the Alan Wake alter because Alan Wake is one of my favorite games ever made. But I haven't finished that DLC. I don't know why. I started it back in September and never got around to completing it. But I'll probably beat it on Xbox, and I picked it up on PlayStation because it's free. And if you haven't played Control, play it. It's one of the best third-person shooters made of the last generation, and just the amount of destructibility and fun you can have with that game's combat and telekinetic abilities or psychokinetic abilities. I forget which one it is, but it's essentially the same thing. um it's just the amount of versatility you have to dispatch your enemies and manipulate the environment in your favor is just incredible. It's just a massive amount of fun, and the story, although convoluted, is very intriguing and captivating, and especially with the introduction of Alan Wake, became way more compelling to me.
Yeah,
And since it's usually $40 and you get it for free, you'd be a fool to miss out on it. It's an
definitely.
incredible game, and Remedy really has only made bangers
Yeah.
throughout their entire existence.
Um,
So
I mean, I've been wanting to play the DLC for a while now. But I played the base game on Xbox, and now I'm like, oh, do I really want to replay the main story of this game to get to the point where I can play the DLC? Because I'm assuming you have to play through the whole main story again to play the DLC.
I
And I
feel
don't
like if
remember
you
how much
want
I actually
to.
liked Control's main story, so
Well,
I
I
don't know.
can't answer that for you, but
I mean, did you like it?
yeah, I really liked it. I
Like I
thought it
think
was really.
I remember enjoying it like relatively, but I don't think I loved it enough to like want to actually replay. But then again, I think it's relatively short too. It's not like a long
It
40-hour
is,
game. It's like a
and
20-hour experience.
it's also convoluted, and a lot of the story details you'll find in the environment and in notes because the cutscenes are purposefully vague.
Yeah.
Um, but again, if you really look into it and how it connects to Alan Wake, and as I said before, I love Alan Wake. It's a great title. And I guess we can talk about Destruction All Stars next because I pre-ordered that game when PS5 launched. I didn't think it was worth $70 like Frank here did, but at the same time, I wanted a multiplayer game at launch for PS5 because it's always such a good vibe when, a console just launches and there's a multiplayer exclusive out for it just so you can meet other people who have the same system as you, maybe make some new online friends. It's a good environment. And then when they delayed it, I obviously canceled my pre-order because then that entire philosophy went out the window, and now I have it for free. I haven't gotten to play it yet, but it looks interesting, kind of like a mix between Carmageddon GTA, and
Rocket League.
Wreckfest, I guess. And Rocket League too, I guess.
Yeah, I
Uh,
don't. It's not up my alley. I mean, at launch, dude, when I saw that $70 price, I thought they were out of their fucking mind. I'm sorry, but like, I'm sorry, Shinobi. It's just not. Not for $70. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe a ton of people will buy it for $70. But this is perfect price though for free. I think this is what the
it's
game.
free until April.
Yeah,
It's
so
free
you
for
got
over
some
a
time to
month.
buy into it, just to claim it, and then it's yours to keep. So, um, yeah, I mean, I would pay like $20 maximum for this. I wouldn't pay any more than Rocket League was at its normal price before that went free to play. I think Rocket League was $20.
Yeah.
Now it's free to play now. I think free to play is a much better direction for a game like this because I don't see how they can keep a player base after like a month or two. And maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe this game will be amazing. I mean, obviously, you never want a game to not do good, but that's my take on it.
Yeah.
And
I mean, I'm
Concrete
definitely
Genie,
gonna
I
try
was
it
checking
out.
out the reviews. It did review really well. A lot of people liked it. More of like a indie experience, but definitely something I'm gonna check out.
Good roster of titles for free. Gotta give it to Sony. PS Plus is crushing games with
Yeah, dude,
gold.
the last 2 months have been fucking insane.
Yeah,
And then you look at
sure.
Xbox, and it's like, oh yeah, here's Indiana Jones and Resident Evil One. No
Again,
offense to those games,
great games in my opinion, but I
but
can
very
understand.
dated. Is the right term.
Yeah. And I was looking after our podcast last week, and I still have my physical copy of Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom for original Xbox. So I'm about to pop that in and install it tonight. And I
Um,
actually, speaking of original Xbox, I know it's kind of off topic. You ever play and well, we did mention the James Bond game earlier. You ever play Nightfire? James Bond
no, I played
Nightfire? Ooh,
one James Bond game, and it was on the Wii. It came with like a golden controller.
probably
I
the GoldenEye Reloaded,
Yeah,
like
that was that. Yeah,
remake, but it was not a remake at
yeah,
all.
that was the one James Bond game I played.
Yeah, no, Nightfire was great. It was one of the EA ones, and it's like Pierce Brosnan Bond, and it's a great stealth action game. And I just bought it again, so I'm waiting for it to come in. I'll replay it.
Okay. In other news, not that exciting. Some depressing news. Well, not depressing,
Oh, jeez,
but Tencent acquired a minority stake in DONTNOD. Now,
that
it's
is
not.
depressing news.
Yeah, it's a small stake. They don't have like control over the studio or anything yet, but
Yet
it's
they're
yeah.
planting the seed for it. That's all that they're doing.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
it was confirmed a while. I don't know if about a while ago, but I think like last week or 2 weeks ago, it was confirmed that like Don't Nod and Square Enix have fallen out. So Don't Nod would have never been making another Life is Strange game again. That's been handed over to Deck Nine, which I believe is the team who did Before the Storm. If anyone played that, it was like the prequel, which they did a good job with that. But Don't Nod is getting funded. I think Tencent's giving them enough money to make a AAA game. So I mean, Don't Nod has made Vampire, which was an incredible game.
oh,
I
I
love
love
Vampire.
I love Vampire. I have to finish my second playthrough of that. That was their best game. I mean, I never played Life is Strange, but I could tell because it was its combat was heavily inspired by Bloodborne. Nowhere near as difficult, obviously, but
Yeah,
took a lot of elements from that and then did its own thing with the vampire magic and all that sort of stuff. And the amount of choice you had in that game for who you wanted to turn and who you didn't. You didn't have to turn anyone, but then you'd be weaker, so it's kind of like a morality system. Vampire
great game
was
from a double
very
A team.
unique. Yeah, very unique and very out of left field for a double A team. Hopefully it's Vampire too. Maybe that's the triple A game. They're going to take everything they wanted to do with the first one they didn't
Maybe.
have the money for, and then here we go. I mean, it's still the way they got the money is not good in my opinion, but
Yeah,
what are you going to do? Out of our hands, obviously.
yeah, definitely. But that's just showing that I think Tencent. They made. I gotta see it. Somewhere mentioned in this article how many acquisitions they did in 2020. They invested in 31 gaming companies. 31. And I
Yeah.
think in 2021 we've seen 3 or 4. They are the threat. Like
Yeah,
they
I
are
don't think
the
China
threat in
has
the
any
gaming industry who's coming in and just trying to really sweep everyone up. And
I don't think China has any anti-monopoly laws. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but considering the type of, tyrannical regime they run, I doubt that's
well, I
high
mean,
on their
none of
list
these
of
people are
priorities.
competitors to them. That's the thing. They're all just little tiny studios, and they're just making this like massive minority stakes in a lot of these companies. And then I don't know. I mean, There was rumors about Take-Two, obviously, and we talked about that last week, so we're not going to dive into that. But I think Tencent just continues to acquire studios as this year goes on.
I really
And
hope not.
especially if Google and Amazon are stepping out of the fight, that's going to be a lot of more opportunities for them, because then really the only person who can outbid them is Microsoft.
Yeah.
I mean, who else can outbid them? Sony's not going to outbid Tencent.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank.
Take-Two's not going to outbid them. EA's not going to outbid them.
Yeah, no, I mean,
So if
'cause you
Google
just
is
said
truly stepping out, I mean, and if Amazon doesn't want to push forward, and
there's no
Apple is not going to push forward even more.
there,
I mean, Amazon at least has cloud streaming through the Luna
unless
service.
unless Samsung comes out of nowhere and was like, "Hey, we're staking a claim now too." That'd be it.
Yeah.
Like, we're
So
moving on from smart fridges to video game consoles.
yeah, but yeah,
We're
I
the
mean, that's
first
something
ever
we're gonna have to keep an
Samsung.
eye on as the year goes on.
Maybe they'll just start building consoles into their refrigerators, and that's how they get in.
Skyrim on the fridge.
Hey, why not? Was on Amazon Alexa, it could be on a Samsung fridge.
I think it was on a fridge. I think there was a fridge that it got put on. I'm not even kidding.
I know they got Doom to run on a Samsung fridge, which is really
Maybe.
awesome.
But in other news, coming straight from Sega, Judgement is
Oh, this annoyed me.
yeah, it's coming, getting little next gen enhancements. Coming to PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X/S, and Stadia on April 23rd of 2021. Um, yeah, there's a few issues with this. The fact that
One
there's no,
really big
well, yeah, but the fact that there's no free upgrade is
that
crazy. But by the way, nothing crazy is coming to the game. It's just including the DLC, 60 FPS, and some resolution upgrades. But anyway,
so it's probably gonna
um,
run like
yeah,
Yakuza Like a Dragon does on
yeah.
Series X, I'd imagine.
No free
It's really
upgrade is strange. I mean, I would expect a free upgrade for something like that. I know it is a few years old, and that's why, but there's not any big enhancements happening to it.
Yeah, I wouldn't say strange, I'd say completely BS. As someone who pre-ordered the game, played a little bit of it. I didn't beat it, but I really liked what I played of it. And if I did get this free upgrade, I'd probably give it another shot. And considering, it's o- not even that old, think maybe it's not even 2 years old yet, I think. Um,
I'll find
it's
out.
not an old game whatsoever. So the fact that they're not giving us a free
December of
upgrade,
2018.
yeah. So it's a little bit over 2 years old
Yeah,
now.
that's a recent game. I
Yeah.
mean,
I mean, it came out the latter half of the generation. I still have my physical copy. I would like to be able to put that into my PS5 and get the enhanced version for free, like so many other games did. And this just comes across to me as incredibly greedy and scummy, and there's really no other way to put it.
well, the weird thing that I found out about it, not regarding that, but wrapping more around to Google and Stadia and all that, is well, hey, there's no PC version, and supposedly the Stadia version has like temporarily exclusivity, and then after that runs out, it will come to PC. That's what I've heard,
Hmm.
which is like weird because you're doing a
Very.
timed exclusive. If this is true, it was just a rumor that I was reading from someone.
The
I
time
don't think it's been confirmed by Sega.
2018.
Yeah, I mean, and especially Stadia supposedly like, oh, we're getting out of gaming. We're shutting down our internal studios, and they're gonna be like, oh yeah, let's force people to come play Judgment. I don't know. It's weird,
Very.
but
I don't know. The fact that I mean, Control did this exact same thing.
yeah, and they got fucking hated on like it was no fucking like,
Yeah,
and
so I
that's why
hope
I didn't
people,
get the next gen version for it. I mean, I wasn't gonna pay $40,
and
and a
neither
lot of
was
people
I,
thought the same way. They lost money because of that,
and they
because
deserve
they got a
to.
lot of negative hate for that.
And Sega deserves to lose money on this, in my opinion. I kind of hope this relaunch bombs because they should have just given existing players the game again for free. There's no reason why I should have to pay twice for a game I already own. None.
Yeah, you're 100% right. Um,
Especially if it, because like they could say, "Oh, it's a remaster." No, it's not. It's like
yeah, it's
Spider-Man
barely
remaster.
anything.
It's not a remaster. You're just giving it a few next-gen enhancements. The games are barely 2 years old at this point, maybe 2 years and a month old. So
Yeah.
piss off. That's what I gotta
Um,
say.
but in other news, Give me 1 second to write down the timestamp. In other news, MLB The Show 21 is going to be coming to Xbox. That's the first time in forever that like a
It's the
Sony
first.
game is coming over to Xbox. I mean, we had
It
like
has the PlayStation logo,
some
box, and everything.
yeah. I mean, there's been like some Microsoft stuff coming to PlayStation through like Minecraft and all that. But this is cool that we're finally seeing it happen the other way.
I wonder if when Deathloop comes out, there'll be like an Xbox Game Studios logo on the case if the deal's finalized before it comes out. That'd be funny.
Yeah. Yeah.
But no, this is gaming history right here. This has never happened before.
It's
And
very
I mean,
cool.
like, I think it would have gotten more traction if it wasn't like MLB because it's only going to attract, most of the attention of like the sports games players and whatnot. But this is a good step forward just from, a connectivity standpoint, just bringing players from all platforms closer together. And I don't, is crossplay going to be a thing for this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, this is a great move
Cross
by Sony.
play and cross progression.
Yeah, that is the way to do it. Kudos to Sony. I mean,
Yeah.
it took them a long time and, pretty much everybody badgering them for years, but hey, they did it. And
Yeah.
this is a good first step. I mean, there's
It
not
is a
much
good
else to
first
say
step.
unless you got anything to
Nah,
add.
nothing. So on that note, we will be moving on to our next topic. Yeah, so the EU is going to be announcing a ruling on the Microsoft ZeniMax acquisition by March 5th. And it could happen sooner, but March 5th is the last date it can happen by. Pretty much every person in the industry expects this to go through. There'd
I
be
don't
no
even know why
reason.
the EU, like, again, this could be
It's
my
something,
thing,
it's with even based
they're
off what
both
I was reading, they do it on everything. Like it's for something related to monopolies, it goes through the EU, even if it's not a European country involved.
the EU is such a joke, but anyways,
Like they
continue.
have antitrust regulators or some shit. I don't know the
Mhm.
exact specifics of it, but
I mean,
yeah,
they shouldn't be dipping their beak into American business, but whatever.
I'm assuming not Microsoft, the United States agreed to this with the EU. I don't think the EU just came in. I mean, I think there had to be some law.
Yeah, there would definitely
I
be
mean,
like
the European Commission approval board. I mean, not Microsoft. The United States must be involved in it, and somehow they must have signed some sort of deal.
I
But
would sure hope so. Otherwise, it would be a complete farce.
yeah, but Microsoft requested approval on January 29th, which means that all the paperwork is finished, and now they're just waiting for it to get approved. So, I mean, there's a good chance that it gets approved this month, which is exciting because then those games can start coming on to Game Pass. So,
Yeah. I mean,
um,
most of them are, but like, there's a few that are left out.
yeah, and I don't have much to add on that besides that.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it's
But
gonna
it
happen.
is exciting that it's finally going to close, and
Bethesda will be officially a first-party Microsoft studio,
yeah,
which if you told me that 10 years ago, I would tell you to kiss my ass.
it's crazy, but it is finally happening. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to really add on that note.
It's just, I think it's gonna really hit when the deal's finalized. But yeah, no, I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, well, I'm very curious to see what's gonna happen with like exclusives and all that. I'm
I'm
not sure
telling
when
you,
we'll find out.
I think when it comes to big games like, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, Doom, Dishonored, stuff like that, I don't see, Sony getting it the same day as Microsoft does. I think they'll launch alongside PC and Xbox. I think those 2 will launch at the same time because, they have Windows and then they get a cut of anything on Steam as
Yeah,
well. But I see, a year timed exclusivity for a lot of these games, maybe even 2 if Microsoft really wants to stake their claim here. I mean, they could do it. They could do whatever the hell they want.
you want to know my take on this?
I do.
So here's my theory. I think any single player game, full exclusive.
Oof.
I don't think they care. I think they have enough money. They don't give a shit. They want people in their ecosystem. I think multiplayer games are going to come to PlayStation. I do think that. So like, we know the team who's working on Elder Scrolls Online. We know that they have a new game coming, another MMO. I think that game will be on PlayStation.
Yeah.
But I think for their single player games, they believe enough in the fact that all right, hey, we're giving them the option to get a Series X for $500. We're giving them the option for a Series S for $300. We're giving them the option to get it on PC. we're giving them the option to get it on xCloud.
And
I
play on
mean,
mobile.
yeah, they're giving so many different options. I don't think they're that worried about saying, "Oh, you're not being inclusive enough. You're holding out on people because you're giving. You don't even have to buy like another console. You can just play it. All right, I'm gonna stream through it." And they're giving a ton of options here. They're not forcing you to say, "All right, I'm gonna go have to buy a $500 console now." And I mean, I think you need to stick it to Sony almost to get people into your ecosystem. Because if you don't get people into your ecosystem, then there's no point in anything. Because that's how much they're really banking on this ecosystem. I mean, they're going all out on this, hoping that it succeeds. They don't
Well,
really.
that's one hell of a double-edged sword, man. I mean, because you're right. If they were to say something like, "Hey, in 2023 or 2024, Elder Scrolls 6 is coming out. It's not coming to any other. It'll be on PC, so don't worry about the modding community and all the people on PC, but it will not be coming to PlayStation consoles at all. It is a
Yeah.
Microsoft exclusive." That would be a massive gut punch to Sony. Um, they would get mountains of people coming over to their services, either investing at the lower level to play on Series S or just getting the more powerful console, which, outclasses the PS5 even performance-wise on Series X. And they're like, hey, kill two birds with one stone, get ES6, and I get a more powerful console. Um, but at the same time, how many people are going to do that for one game? Like, I understand it's Elder
Well,
Scrolls,
that's their
Matt,
whole standpoint on xCloud. I mean, for the
like
people who aren't going to make that big leap, it's
they
to
could
try
do
to get
that
them to
as
pay $15 to get Game Pass Ultimate, which will have xCloud. And I mean, the big goal should be getting it on every single TV. Just having an app on your TV where you just press a button, you're instantly
well. Yeah,
into xCloud streaming, and it's just there. So then you pay
like
15 bucks, and it's that
yeah,
simple. And I mean, I know internet
but
is obviously an issue for a lot of people. Like, I mean, Stadia was not good at all. Like, for me, when I played, at least, like, quality was not great. And I mean, xCloud was a little bit better, but still not perfect quality wise. But then again, if you want a better quality experience, you're gonna have to go shell out the $300 or $500 and get into the ecosystem even more.
I will say though, the other half of the double-edged sword I was talking about is, if Microsoft forgoes the Sony sales, that's like a community of what's their install base, like 120 million people,
Yeah. But
something
my thing is, I
ridiculous.
don't think Microsoft actually gives a shit because it's how
I
much
don't know,
money they
that's
make.
a
Like,
lot
if
of
you
people.
saw
That's a lot of money left
just
out.
in 3 months, they made like
Double.
Microsoft did the whole
They spent
double of the
yeah.
Bethesda action. So I don't think they're in a rush to make the money back, and I think they're thinking more long term, and they want
I
to get
don't know.
people back into the ecosystem. And I
It's
think
gonna
that's
be
the
very
way,
interesting. It's gonna be very interesting to see what they do. That much I know for a
because you
fact.
can definitely make more money in like the first 5 year period by doing
Mm,
this, but for the long term, I mean, Microsoft is thinking about the future. I mean, they have to envision their company 100 years down the line. And I mean, I know it's crazy to think about, like, oh yeah, we're gonna be dead, but like they're thinking about what's coming next in like the next console generation already. I mean, it's just starting for us, but they're worried about like they want people when they upgrade from their PS5 to not get a PS6 and to come over to Xbox, and that's you start pumping out exclusive, well quality games now, and you get
which
ahead
they
of it, and that's how you do it, in my opinion.
and they're in desperate supply of first party IPs.
Yeah,
So
I
that
mean we
are
talked about it
actually
before. They don't
yeah,
have.
they don't really have anything besides, Gears, Forza, and Halo. So
I mean,
they
based off what
definitely
I'm
got
hearing, Starfield is coming this year. Based off
yeah.
every rumor that I've seen.
And they have Obsidian, but Obsidian's games are very far away.
Yeah.
So and same with In Exile.
I mean,
So
based off what I've heard, we should expect Halo Infinite this year. We should
mhm.
expect Starfield and potentially Forza, potentially Wolfenstein 3. That's
I
what
think
it's looking like.
I think Forza 8 is coming this year. Forza Motorsport 8, yeah.
Yeah.
Not Horizon 5, but the next Motorsport game is definitely going to come this year. I thought it was going to come last year. I was really expecting it to, and I really wanted to because I love Forza. But you know,
Yeah.
they got to step up their game, and
And then
hopefully
also, I mean, there's
see the beginning of the. I hope in this year we'll see the beginning of the incline of them going up in
yeah,
quality.
definitely. And I mean, they're definitely going to acquire other studios as well. I mean, I've been saying this for a while, dude. Techland, I think Dying Light 2. I mean, there's so many issues going on over there. Just acquire them and help them finish this game. And that game's gonna be so fucking good, dude. Oh my god.
If it ever
If it ever
comes out,
comes out, if it ever
yeah.
comes out, but the groundwork's already there on that game, and I mean, I don't know. I would love for Tech,
It could turn into a Dead Island 2 situation, which would be
definitely.
very ironic. Which it would be like peak irony, but I really don't want it to.
Yeah,
Yeah, Microsoft would be definitely the type of people to, come in and give them some cash flow and then be like, "Hey, we're gonna clean up this mess, and when we're done, we're gonna have a serious talk about rearranging some management." But just to like get Dying Light 2 out the door, that would probably be really good call for them to do. And then, hey, Techland's a bunch of talented people, so whatever comes
yeah.
after that is probably gonna be guaranteed a profit or definite success. So
New topic is getting added. Just got some
is it?
breaking news. It's just always with us, dude. I don't know what it is about Tuesdays, but I guess Tuesdays is a big like news day always. So we'll add it on as our topic after God of War. We'll do God of War first. Just quick notice to anyone: the enhanced edition for God of War is out now, right now.
And just to clarify, they advertise it as an enhanced edition, but it's really just a next gen
Well, it's a
patch.
next gen free upgrade. They're not charging you anything for it. 4K, 60 FPS. Um, but yeah, I mean that's all you can really expect.
It's gonna look very pretty on your PS5. So if you want to replay God of War, if you want to get the platinum, if you want to finally get that new game plus run out of the way, now would be the time.
Okay. So on to our new topic that just came up out of nowhere. Does anyone like a series named Battlefield?
Oh shit. Yeah, this guy
Because
right.
uh so during their earning calls, which just happened right now from EA, uh the next Battlefield game will be revealed in spring 2021 and will release the holiday season.
Yes, bro. Is that it? Is that all the news?
I'm seeing, dude. Hang on.
Well, because I
Oh
mean,
no, it just went away. Where'd it go? No, Jeff Grubb, come back.
well, 128 player battles from what we've heard. It's gonna be set in the modern.
It takes all aspects of the franchise it's known for and takes it to the next level. It will return to full-out military warfare, takes full advantage of the next-gen consoles. So
So
pretty much
128
nothing
player
like
servers.
crazy announcement.
But lining up with the old leaks, we're gonna have 128 play servers on the next gen consoles. Hopefully, we finally have a good campaign again that isn't just gutter trash, like Battlefield 5's was. And I am very excited for Battlefield to go back to its roots, or at least back to it, when it was quality, like in the days of 2 and 3, and 4 after it was patched. But spring could be, any time from March to June. So
Yeah,
I'm hoping March, personally.
probably
Uh,
not. I mean, I would expect it to be in June because that's usually when EA has their show.
well,
So
I've been
that's what I would
playing
expect.
Battlefield 4 since 2013, 2014, so I would like a new one. I know they've had 1 and 5, but they don't really count because 1 died like a month after launch because they couldn't support it with content fast enough, and 5 was just terrible. And I'll die on that hill any day of the week. 5 is a terrible, terrible game in many more ways than one. So if this can finally, resort back to what Battlefield is meant to be, I'll be a happy camper. But I'll tell you this, if they fuck up again, I'm done. I'm done with Battlefield because if you my rule for franchises now, if you have 3 terrible games in a row, or at least 3 subpar games in a row, I'm done. Like that's kind of my policy with Far Cry right now because 5 in my opinion was terrible and New
I liked
Dawn
Five a
just
lot, and we are on total opposite sides of this, and
I hate 5 so much. And then New Dawn was just like 5 again, but slightly
yeah, I
better.
agree with that. I did not
And
like
then,
New Dawn.
if 6 is bad, I'm done with them. So I just please EA, get your head out of your ass. Listen to the fans. Make the Battlefield that we want, not the Battlefield that you guys want. Because let me tell you something, you tried that with 5 and no one gave a shit. Terrible game. So
And I am
I
curious
stay
about how they're
positive.
going to handle the multiplayer aspect of Battlefield 6 because I mean multiplayer has kind of been changing a lot. I mean, we know Halo Infinite's going to have free to play multiplayer. You see with COD, I mean, they have the Warzone that's free to play. Um,
I assume
so
they'll
I would
mimic that.
expect, Battlefield 6 will have some sort of battle royale that will be free to play.
Yeah, that's
That's
what
my
I would
guess.
assume.
Because I know Battlefield 5 had a battle royale and it sucked, and they charged
Yeah,
money for
fire.
it, and it just wasn't ever gonna work.
Yeah, helicopters in World War II. Sure, buddy. Sure. Like, I mean, Battlefield 5 is the most historically inaccurate game I've ever played, but
There was
even that is,
helicopters in the battle royale.
yeah,
You
in
sure?
World War II. Yeah, I'm sure because I played one match and I found one and then I died while flying it. So that was cool. It's also really cool seeing like women Japanese soldiers running across Iwo Jima. Definitely doesn't, and like women Marines storming it. Definitely doesn't minimize or take away from the sacrifice that the real soldiers lay down their lives for to win that battle. Definitely doesn't negate any of that.
So it's called the
Obviously, this is
Fletner
complete
helicopter.
sarcasm if you couldn't tell.
I mean,
But
it technically is from 1942 is when this helicopter was made. So I mean, technically it's
sea battle, no,
no, but
exactly. Get that shit out of my face. Just like the entirety of Battlefield 5. It is garbage. So 6 needs to be a serious improvement. Otherwise, the franchise is dead in my eyes. And I'll just
yeah.
keep playing 4 until they sunset the servers.
Well,
And
on
3.
that note, I think that is it. I'm checking Twitter, make sure nothing else has happened.
Make sure nothing drops in like 5
I
seconds
mean, since we're
after
talking
we
about EA, I'll just throw it in there.
press.
Apex Legends announced it's coming to the Switch on March 9th. But that's all I
Fun.
got. So
I don't
on
understand why they put like a multiplayer only game like that on Switch when most people don't have an internet connection when they're using
well,
it.
yeah, the
Well,
internet connection's terrible on the Switch, so that's
but
why
hey,
Switch Pro needs to come out to fix that issue. But
well,
they,
maybe next
nah, dude.
episode of Game Precast we'll
Dude,
be
they
able to
just
cut.
confirmed that they're not even gonna like have one out for a while, which they might have just been bullshitting because they had,
Nintendo likes the bullshit.
yeah. But on that note, guys, thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next one. So,
Later, everyone.
adios.